What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back for another review of Tyler Perry Sistas. This is season 7, episode 4, and the episode is titled Death Becomes Them. Let's jump right into this review. Now, as y'all know, on the last episode, Mr. Leland was going in on Andy, because she was the reason, or at least he was blaming her to be the reason that Gary must have had so much access around the building. And I'm like, whoa, sir. You going so hard at Andy because she was dating Gary. I hope you was going that hard on Hayden because he's the one who brought Gary in to take Robin out. Let's not forget that, because Robin never came back. But y'all, we come back to this man being dead. Absolutely dead. I said, whoa, I thought this was going to be like a dream for Andy. All right, so Fatima, she's trying to tell Andy, like, listen, girl, you need to look at the bright side. With this man dead, he can't talk bad about you dating Gary. And also, he was one of the partners, so with him out the way, that's one less partner to talk bad about you. So now Andy brain got to working, and she's like, wait a second, he was a partner, he was a managing partner, so now she knows that the other partners are going to be looking for a spot to fill. So Andy is trying to finesse her way on to becoming a managing partner. I say, now wait a second, girl. Can you get yourself out of one situation before you try to hop onto a benefit that may not even really benefit you? Also, Fatima, I don't even understand why you so hype, because I'm going to need for you to at least be like in school trying to become a lawyer, because you've been all talk, and I'm going to need for your pay to increase so that way you're not just an assistant no more. But let's go ahead and move on. We see Hayden, he actually gives Gary a call. So come to find out, Hayden, he is back up to his old ways, you guys. At first he was saying how he would help Andy and they would, protect each other or whatever. But baby, that quickly went right out the window, because now he on the phone with Gary talking about how him and Gary, they can basically connect back up because Leland has passed away. And Leland was the one who was in charge or taking charge on trying to, throw Gary out and get Gary sent to jail. And I'm just like, I know you lying, Hayden. So now, because Leland is dead, he is trying to have some personal gain. Same way as Andy, okay? So now he's saying, listen, Gary, I can help you out. You can help me out. I can keep you out of jail. And you can go ahead and help me convince the other partners that basically I should take that spot. I'm just like, and what kind of convincing do you think Gary can do at this point? And on top of that, you guys, he also wants to destroy Andy. And I'm just like, wait a second. What exactly did Andy do to you? I'm not following, but baby, it seemed like it's going to be getting good on this show. All right, y'all, so let's go ahead and move on, because we see Zach walking around his old stomping grounds, aka the airport, and he goes to see Daniela. I can't lie, I do kind of miss the banter between those two, and since he left the airport, we don't see that anymore. So what does Zach have to say? Well. He actually talks to Danny about how, he's coming there to talk about Karen, and how he doesn't exactly know how to go about asking her about this whole DNA test. And we already know that Danny feels like that ain't Zach's baby. She's been feeling that way since the beginning. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what her response was, because we jump on to the next scene. Speaking of Karen, we go to her new salon, and here comes Mr. Delivery Man. He got 2 boxes in his hand, and Karen is like, you're not about to bring that up in here, because I keep having to send stuff back. I didn't pay for that. We're not taking it here. So next thing you know, Pam is like, wait a second, those are mine. I paid for them with my own money. Go ahead and place them over there. So Karen is like, girl, how'd you even pay for this? Because you ain't got no money like that. And Pam had to let her know, listen, girl, I took a business loan out because I already know my products are going to be flying off the shelves. So I am really hoping that this season we do see like the products that, Pam is working on, and it does work out for her. Like, I would love to see that for her storyline. So Karen basically tell her, listen, you might want to slow your roll with the credit cards because, you can rack up a lot of debt. And here comes Mr. Delivery Man. He's like, oh yeah, you might want to listen to her because, it took me a while to pay off all my debt from college. And Karen is like, you went to college? Hell, I gave the side eye too, because I'm just like, all right, Mr. Delivery Man. But I get it. Sometimes after college, people don't go into the fields that they went to study for, and things happen. Hell, life happens. But he's like, yeah, I went to college. I graduated top of my class. And now I'm just like, so why do you work for the UPS as the delivery driver? Like, I really hate how he tried to flip it on her to be like, oh, you probably wondering how a hood dude like me got into college. No, Negro. If you graduated top of your class, we try to figure out why you carrying boxes every day. That's what we want to know. So next thing you know, he ends up leaving out of the salon or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, so it's clear that at some point he may have a little rendezvous with Karen. Am I interested in that? Not really. Just because I don't understand why we're trying to do this whole, oh, she's pregnant, but every man wants her. It just don't make no sense to me. Let's move on, because we have Sabrina at the bank, and here come her little white sidekick, who clearly gets on all of our nerves and is giving Karen vibes, because the way she rode up on Sabrina talking about how, why didn't you tell this man about the Christmas program? Girl, get your micromanaging ass somewhere else, because I cannot stand people like her. So here comes their regional manager or whatever, and they're like, okay, why are you here? Because, baby girl, we were not expecting you. She says she has a proposition for both ladies. Child, we don't have time to see them competing for a position. Moving on, we see Andy. She's back in her office. Here comes knockoff Robin, aka bootleg fake Jordan. I just can't. He looks like a goof troop, and I'm not interested. But he pops up on her at work or whatever, and he over here trying to kiss on her, but she ain't trying to do the same because, all eyes are on her at this point. And as we can see, Hayden's eyes were all over what was going on in her office. So, bootleg Jordan, he is there or whatever, just checking on Andy to see how she is, especially after Leland had died. And she's a bit shaken up, so he's like, okay, well, let's just go ahead and leave. And she assumed that he was saying, like, she needs to go ahead and leave the firm. But no, he mean, let's go get something to eat, girl. So as we see Andrea and bootleg Jordan leave, we also see Hayden, who is still on that phone. So he's on the phone with Gary or whatever, and he's basically updating Gary about the fact that, Andy's leaving with Jordan. And for some reason, Gary has it in his head that Andy was the one who did all of this. And I'm just like, you really think that Andy reported you to the feds? She ain't thinking about you. But even Hayden was like, nah, she was real shaken up about all of this. I don't think it was her. I really started to think it was Penelope. But nonetheless, these two fools make a deal because Hayden wants that position as managing partner over Andy. Now, as the camera continues to pan on Gary, we can see that Penelope is in the background. So she hears Gary say that that B won't know what hit her or something like that, referring to how, him and Hayden are going to, do whatever they got to do to go against Andy. So this is when Penelope pipes up and she's like, well, what B are you talking about? And baby, he was definitely shocked that she heard him, but that was where that scene ended. Let's jump back over to Sabrina. And we learned that the position was that they need a new branch manager or whatever. And the annoying thing about this girl, Paige, is that she continues to try to answer for Sabrina as if Sabrina is not qualified, and baby, she is. So the regional manager, she wants both ladies to apply to the job or whatever. Now, I will say this. I feel like they're trying to give Sabrina something to do because, her storyline has been a little lackluster. But I'm going to need for it to give, a little bit more. But let's go ahead and move on. So we actually see Karen at the shop and her mom comes in or whatever. And when she's talking to Karen is kind of zoned out. So she finally snaps back into reality and her mom is like, girl, where was your head at? So come to find out she was thinking about Trey, aka the delivery guy. And her mom was like, oh, so you like this guy or whatever. And Karen is like, listen, I need to focus on getting my business off the ground and me carrying this baby. So no, not like that. So she goes on to explain how she feels like she offended him or whatever because of the whole he went to college thing. Again, I didn't even think that she assumed that he didn't go to college. It was the reasoning because he was some type of hood guy. I'm like, you acting like she just saw you have a shootout with somebody. I'm not understanding how we got here. And like I said, sir, you said you graduated top of your class. Why are you a delivery man? That's what we're trying to figure out. So I can't lie, I found it funny that her mom, Karen's mom, as well as Pam, were calling her a snob and that she's like judgmental or whatever. And I'm like, judgmental? Y'all, she dated Zach for how many years? I don't know how much judging she could really do. Alright, so we actually slide back over to Danny and Zach. And of course, he's telling her about how, he wants to get his DNA test, blah, blah, blah. So she's telling him, like, well, I thought you already knew that this was your baby. And he's like, no, the DNA test that she had, it was to prove that Aaron was not the father. It never had anything to do with me. So then he goes on to say something along the lines of like, oh, because, I want to know for sure before me and Fatima continue to invest, money into, like, everything that's going on. So now it clicks in Danny's mind, like, oh, okay, so Fatima is the one who really wants you to get this DNA test. And yeah, that's it. Fatima absolutely wants him to get a DNA test just so that he knows for sure. And I feel like, considering this situation, it's probably best for him to know for a fact that this is his child or not. So Danny, she does tell him, like, listen, I understand you want your DNA test, but your timing is off because Kara, she has a lot going on. She's trying to rebuild her business. She just opened up the shop. Like, timing is just off. So next thing you know, we end up jumping back over to Karen and her mama. Alright, so her mama is up here explaining about how every guy that Karen meets is not going to be Zach, so she doesn't have to always think negatively about them, and blah, blah, blah. Y'all know whenever Miss Lisa be talking, I be halfway zoning out, because I feel like she be loud and wrong all the time. So let's jump back over to Zach and Danny. So now Zach is like, alright, yeah, I didn't even think about all of this. When it comes to Karen getting her shop and her business affairs all in order. So then he's like, okay, I'm basically going to drop it. And Danny's like, no, you can't drop it because Fatima will be upset about it. And also, you will be a fool to be paying for a baby that's not yours. Like, I've been told y'all a long time ago, Danny wants to be friends with Fatima. Danny has wanted to be friends with Fatima since Fatima stepped on the scene, okay? So her reasoning for telling Zach all of this is because Fatima deserves to know who the real daddy is. I mean, Zach does as well. And for him to basically run over there to Karen and demand that, his sample is tested to know if he's daddy or not. And it's just so crazy because it's like, girl, Karen is your sister. Remember, your home girl. Y'all been cool since college. Like, it's crazy that this is your perspective. I mean, is it honest and true to Danny's character to go against the grain? For sure. Because we already know that had he had this conversation with Andy or Sabrina, they definitely would have been like, no, Kara said it's your baby, so it's yours. She wouldn't lie. But Danny, on the other hand, I don't think she really feeling Karen. So Yeah, this is her perspective. All right, so we actually see Fatima go into Hayden's office. Now, why is she there? Not really sure. I feel like she knows that Hayden is up to something, and of course, she's going to get down to the bottom of it. So, Fatima is real comfortable, y'all, to the point where she has kicked her feet up on top of the desk. And she already has assumed that this man has been on the phone with Gary. So, of course, we see them take shots at each other back and forth. And then he went on to diss Andy, saying that she was past due on her STD screenings. I said, whoa. Where'd that come from? Like, I can't even say Andy caught a stray because I guess he ain't been feeling Andy. But I'm just like, you were just in her face a few hours ago talking about some, if you don't snitch on me, I won't snitch on you. I'm not understanding how we got here. So Fatima, she's like, listen, I already know that you are gunning for the partner position. However, Fatima thinks that this position belongs to Andy. Now, I can't lie. I hollered when that man called her a glorified stenographer. I was laughing because I can't lie. When it comes to Fatima, I'm like, girl, you bigging up Andy so big. And at the end of the day, it's not impacting your career. You still about to be playing assistant while she is moving up. Like, what you gonna do? Just continue to be her assistant? What happened to you going to school? Like, I'm sorry. This season, we better see that girl enroll in school or something. Because I'm over this whole conversation of she wants to be a lawyer, but we don't see no action towards it. So Fatima basically tells him that she's putting him on notice and that he better not try to screw Andy over. We shall see how this battle goes. Now let's go ahead and move on, y'all. We have Sabrina and Maurice. Now I was not sure how often we would see Maurice, but hey, I like to see him. So they talk about how, she could be possibly getting her original job back, which will be the branch manager. So I'm assuming that Paige as well as Sabrina are assistants, like they're assistant managers. I'm a little confused. Nonetheless, Maurice, he's joking about what she got to do to get her job back. And next thing you know, Rich comes to the table. So they're at his little juice bar, having lunch or whatever. He wants to make sure that they're having a good time, make sure that the food is good or whatever. And when he walks away, Maurice wants to know, does this man have any red flags? Like, yeah, he fine and all, but does he have any red flags? So Sabrina, she tells him about how Rich doesn't want kids. And Maurice, he just doesn't seem to understand her perspective because he don't want kids himself. So he like, what's the whole hype about having kids? Now, here's my thing. Sabrina, that's not the only issue. This man also told you that he doesn't want to get married. So you done sat up with the girls talking about a white picket fence American dream that you trying to have, and this man wants no parts of whatever you talking about. I don't understand why you are still trying to make it work with Rich. But nonetheless, y'all, I was hollering when Sabrina was like super serious, like, I was put on this earth to be a mother. And here comes Maurice. I was put on this earth to have a sugar daddy. I said, not a sugar daddy. Sir, you got to cut it out. So next thing you know, Jordan and Andy walk in or whatever. And after Andy introduces, Maurice to her man, did y'all peep how Andy called Maurice Sabrina's ex-coworker? And I'm just like, I'm so glad that he corrected her, like, I'm her friend, I'm her confidant, this, that, and another, because what you not about to do is try to downplay Maurice. I get it. He ain't a sister, but he is definitely her friend. Okay? Nonetheless, again, Maurice, sometimes he can be funny, y'all. Sometimes he get on my nerves, but when he told New Jordan to leave that hoe and get with a bro, I laughed so hard, especially because isn't the New Jordan gay in real life? So I'm just like, are you talking about the character or what? But let's go ahead and move on, y'all. So we get back to Penelope and Gary. She tells Gary that he doesn't have to explain anything to her because, remember, she walked in on him in his phone call. She just wants to discuss their situation because, now they're living apart, and he ends up getting a call out of nowhere from Hayden or whatever. Now, it's clear that Hayden is afraid of Fatima's family on this phone call because he's like, what am I supposed to do about that? You need to help me, all of this stuff. So Gary, he ends up stepping out the room or whatever, and this is when Penelope, she starts snooping around. Now, here's my thing. She ends up being so shocked when she picked up his passport or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, well, what is on this passport? We gonna get there, y'all. So let's go ahead and move on real quick. We jump on over to Zach. He tells Fatima that he's going to go through with the paternity test. I think he called her on the phone or whatever. Now, speaking of paternity, y'all, Danny now is having a little bit of remorse. She feels like maybe she shouldn't have told, old boy to roll up on Karen like that. I'm like, yeah, right. You shouldn't have co-signed that, considering that's supposed to be one of your best friends. So, the next thing you know, Tony shows up. I said, okay, here come Big Body Tony. So, Danny tells him about Karen's grand opening and how Karen feels like the girls aren't there for her anymore. So, here comes Tony trying to be the voice of reason, saying how Danny basically needs to find a balance between having a friendship with Fatima and having a friendship with Karen, right? And I'm just like, okay, so basically Tony's whole point on this show is to be nice to Danny and tell her where she went wrong. Okay, cool. So next thing you know, she tells him how she messed things up by telling Zach to go get a DNA test. Now, we're going to go ahead and jump on over to Karen. She's over here stressed out about money. And Pam, she's like, after you had his baby, don't even worry about it because Zach got to drop a couple stacks, in the child support or whatever. So then we jump back over to Sabrina and Andy and that whole gang. And they quickly talk about how things were left off when it came to Karen because both of them left the grand opening early. Now, y'all, I'm really trying to figure out why the hell did Karen have a grand opening, it seemed like on a random fucking Tuesday at like 11 a.m. I don't even understand why her grand opening was around that time. It seemed like, girl, you could have it on the weekend. Especially considering you wanted your girls to support you. And, everybody work Monday through Friday. But nonetheless, they both say that they're going to try to talk to Karen later. So we see Maurice, he's asking New Jordan some questions. And he's like, what were you doing before you decided to run for city council? And he's like, oh, I was a coach. Since when? When was he a coach, y'all? I could have sworn he was a former NFL player. And he was a businessman. He was like an entrepreneur. When was he a coach? So Maurice, he goes on about a coming to America lifestyle that he wants or whatever. And next thing you know, him and Sabrina left. So Penelope ends up calling Andy to tell her that Gary is living a double life. I'm like, well, bitch, you already knew that. I'm sorry, that part right there really pissed me off because I'm like, Penelope, last time I checked, 3 months ago, you were the same woman who found out about the other women that he was messing around with, besides Andy. So him living a double life is nothing new to you. I'm not understanding. This is where, for me, the writers have a little disconnect with what Tyler had previously wrote. But I digress. Next thing you know, we jump back over to Danny and Tony. She's over here ranting about how Karen has been judgmental of her. And, she has her own stuff going on. They can be judged. Here's the thing. All y'all heifers can be judged for some of the stupid stuff that y'all do. Like, let's be completely honest. However, you could have absolutely told, what's his name, Zach. Like, listen, I understand you want to get a DNA test and you want to know. But keep in mind, Karen is only how many months pregnant? This baby is nowhere near due. So you have some time to get this DNA test. Like, no one is saying that you have to get this DNA test right now, in this instant. Why the fuck do you have to keep moving so fast, Zach? That's the real question. I understand that Fatima is uncomfortable with the situation, but at the same time, you can't wait till next week? You can't wait till after she's done celebrating opening up her new business? It makes no sense to me. So, nonetheless, this is where shit went left for me, y'all. Y'all let me know if I'm the crazy one. Tony tells her that she can take the rest of the fucking day off. Tony tells Danny that she can take the rest of the day off. Last time I checked, they work for 2 different airline companies. When did she switch? Did Danny switch airline companies, y'all? I'm trying to understand. Because I'm like, last time I checked, airlines usually work with seniority. Why would she give up her seniority to work for her man's company? Because it really ain't going to benefit her none. And like the way she ran to go get her purse, and he talking about he going to take over. I said, you going to take over what? You're going to take over the front desk for another company's airlines? Make that make sense, please. Like, he has no authority to tell her that she can go home. But y'all let me know if I'm the crazy one. So we jump back over to Andy. She's still on the phone with Penelope. And Andy basically tells her, listen, take a photo of the passport, send it to me, and put everything back how you found it. Okay, fine. Lastly, y'all, we see Zach. He goes to the salon. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You couldn't let this woman have this one day of celebration and being happy? You had to come ruin it with your shenanigans? Like, I understand you wanting to get the DNA test, but just not today, buddy. So, first thing first, I was annoyed. Why the hell are you yelling through the damn salon? Karen! 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 Shut the hell up! Like, that irritates me so much, because Zach be doing all this yelling unnecessarily. Secondly, he literally shows up and tells her that he's not there for the celebration, but he wants a DNA test. Are you kidding me? Like, the way he approached this situation, ain't no way we started at the top of this season. I mean, not the season. We started at the top of the day. You was going to give this girl some roses to say, hey, girl, congratulations. I'm proud of you. For you to then show up hours later after talking to her trifling ass mama, talking to your girl, who honestly in that moment Fatima didn't really say much, and also talking to her trifling ass friend Danny. We done got all the way to the point where you were loud and disrespectful, yelling her name through her damn business, being ghetto as hell. Then for you to approach her to say, I'm not even here for the celebration. I just want a DNA test. How the hell did we get here? Because the type of energy that you on, Zach, I'm not supporting. But y'all, that was the episode. You let me know what y'all thought about it. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.